Hello everyone, my name is Pacha and welcome to our little special build episode for the Zookeepers Animal Pack, which will release today alongside update 1.18. So if you're watching this video, or when you're watching this video, this pack might already be available for you to purchase on Steam. And of course the update is free, so you just need to update your game and then you have it. And first of all, big thanks to Frontier for providing me with early access to the DLC as well as the update, so that I can make this video for you here to maybe interest you in buying the DLC and having a little bit of fun with what you can do with this new DLC. And I decided to do, as I always do, a little special build for one of the animals of the DLC, and this one of course being the HAMADRYAS Baboon, one of the new 7 animals that will be part of the DLC. And we will talk later a little bit more about what I think about the DLC, because I said in the last video, if you haven't watched it, yesterday I uploaded a video where I show everything that is in the DLC as well as the update, all the pieces and animals and everything around it. So if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend doing so, because I give you a great overview over everything. And I also talked about it in a segment there, if you should buy the DLC, and I said in that segment that I will provide a little bit more context or my own opinion about the DLC and the update in the next video, which is this one. But first of all, we are gonna build for the HAMADRYAS Baboon here, and you already saw in the intro cinematic what I have in mind for this animal, which is a very classic zoo animal, very common zoo animal from what I know. And I decided to go with a more of a classic design for the habitat with this pit around it, this moat. But we're gonna do it and make a dry mode, because wet modes for primates are always a little bit of a risk because they're not very great swimmers. So I decided to go with a dry mode and have some electric wiring around the barrier so that they don't escape. But then I went for a very classic design for that habitat with a lot of rocks that you see, which is of course the environment these animals live in. And then I decided to go with more of a Egyptian theming, temple theming for the habitat, because the HAMADRYAS baboon was actually a sacred animal in ancient Egypt, because they had God, the god of wisdom and learning, and that god had the head of a HAMADRYAS baboon, because they saw these animals as very wise and very quick learning animals. So I decided to combine the features of a very classic zoo habitat with this Egyptian theming to create the habitat you see now being created in front of you. And as I said, I want to talk a little bit more about the DLC itself, the update itself, how I like both of them, what my opinion is on both of them, because I know it's a very controversial update, being most likely the last one. I know some people don't want to hear that, but the chances are super high that this one will be the last DLC, due to the theming, of course, being called the Zookeepers Animal Pack, similar to Jurassic World Evolution 2's last pack being the Park Manager Animal Pack, and containing basically fan favorite wished for animals, and in this case animals that are very common in zoos, and of course animals that have been requested for quite a long time. We get to why that might not be completely the case, but we get to that. And here we are building the electric wiring using the new I think they're called string pieces, which are free and coming with the update, which are super useful because there's a super thin piece, I think one of our thinnest pieces that we have now in the game, and they make great electric wire, electric cables, so they have a lot of use apart from being string pieces, of course. But what is my opinion on the DLC? Oh, by the way, before I forget it, I know I'm jumping all over the place here with my commentary, but before I forget it, this habitat, of course, will be available on the workshop for you to download. And this time I didn't put any paths down. Everything here is without paths, so it should be easier to blueprint for you guys. I will have, as always, uploaded it as a zoo map blueprint, so we have a zoo map, and then you can blueprint it yourself out, whatever you need of it, or if you want to have the whole habitat, you can blueprint the whole habitat. It shouldn't be complicated to do so, because I, as I said, didn't do any pathing, stuff like that. So if you want to use it in your own zoo, and you can do that. But yeah, my opinion on the DLC is a mixed one, honestly. And why that is the case, I will go into a bit. But first of all, of course, we are getting 7 new animals and 95 plus pieces, so similar to the Barnyard pack. No exhibit animal, no 8 animals that we usually have with animal packs. We instead get pieces, which is kind of nice thing was already a nice thing for the Barnyard pack, and it's also a nice thing for this one, that we get some more additional pieces for the end of Planet Zoo, so that we don't only close up with more animals, but also with some more useful stuff for creating habitats and things like that. And the animals we get are, you probably know it by now, the Palace Cat, the HAMADRYAS Baboon, the Markhor. Then we get the Spectacle Bear, the African Spurred Tortoise, the Cockerel Sifaka, and the Kirk's Dik Tiny Ungulate. And why, as I said, the choices were there to give us some very common zoo animals and some more requested ones. And in fact, all of these animals in this pack have been or are on the meta wish list, which is a wish list made by the community over on the official forums, where people can put their or list their favorite animals, and then they all get collected into a combined meta wish list. And we know that Frontier looks at this meta wish list to get inspiration for what to put in their upcoming packs and stuff like that. And in the past, many of the animals that are high on the wish list ended up in the packs, which doesn't mean they always go for only the high or the top animals in this list, but they also go for animals that are further down in the list and that just fit the theming, for example. So it's not like they only go for the top part of the list and then go down from that or something like that. And as I said, all of the animals are in that meta wish list. I think the HAMADRYAS Baboon is even in the top 10 of that wish list, and most of the others are in the top 20 to top 30. I think only the Tortoise is in top 50 or something like that. It's a little bit further down the line. And this brings me to my first point about this pack, that none of these animals are in the top 5 or anything, which has stuff in it like, I think, on spot number 1 is the Secretary Bird, then Coati, Walrus, Manatees I think are also in there, Tree Kangaroo, and since this is most likely last pack, I know it's not confirmed or anything, but I will now treat my opinion on this pack like it would be the last DLC that we get for Planet Zoo before it ends its runtime. And in that sense, I have to say that I'm not a little bit disappointed. It's definitely a good pack. Let's get that out of the way. It's definitely a solid pack, but I would have been a little bit disappointed in the way which animals they went for this last pack, let's call it like that, or potential last pack, because there are, as I said, many animals in the top 5 that have been wished for ages by the community, like the Secretary Bird, like the Coati, like the Tree Kangaroo, and since it's the last pack and it's called the Zookeeper Animal Pack, so containing animals that are wished by the community and are very common in zoos, I would have expected to see some of these animals in that pack to give this game a send-off, a nice goodbye, to finish the game basically. I know mods exist and there are mods for these animals, but they work on different rigs that are not meant for these type of animals, so getting an official rig, an official skeleton for these animals with animation, stuff like that, would have been better than working on what we currently have. That said, the animals in this pack are great. We are getting 2 primates with the Cockerel Sifaka and the HAMADRYAS Baboon. We rarely get primates in packs or in the game, so it's nice that we get 2. But as I said, another lemur, which is okay. Yeah, it's a very special lemur. It moves very much unique in a way that it hops on the ground. You saw that maybe if you watched some of the showcase videos of the pack, you saw them moving on the ground around. So it is more unique than other lemurs, but it's our 4th lemur after the ringtail, the red ruffed lemur, and the black and white ruffed lemur. And it's our 4th lemur, and the HAMADRYAS baboon. I don't complain about the HAMADRYAS baboon. Totally cool that we have them. They are very common and very loved zoo animals, so nice to have them. But on the other side, we still only have one New World monkey, which is the capuchin monkey, which we got in I think the first year of Planet Zoo support, 2020. We got the capuchin monkey, and since then no additional South American monkey. Leaves a little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth that this is how we end this game, with only one South American monkey, no howler monkey, no spider monkey. Okay, but we get another South American animal, you say. Yes, I know, we get the spectacled bear, our 6th bear, 7th bear, I lost count. I think we have all the bear species now in the game apart from the American black bears. Otherwise we have all bear species in the game. And the spectacled bear is a very important bear for South American species. It's a very cool bear, so don't complain about that. But it could have been another South American animal. As I said, it could have been a howler monkey, a spider monkey, anything from South America that isn't a bear, for example. But yeah, it is what it is. Dig, totally cool. Like the Dig, it's a very unique ungulate. It's a very small ungulate, which is something new for us. It's our first small ungulate. Tiny ungulate actually, and the Markhor, it was also very much wished for by the community, and it's a very cool animal. As I said already in my review of the pack, I would have wished that the beard of the Markhor would have been more fluffier, and the hair texture on the beard isn't as good as I would have imagined it, but otherwise I have no complaints about it. Okay, of course some people will complain, another goat species we just got the alpine goat in the barnyard pack, so I know some people will complain about it, about what other animals we could have gotten, but yeah, it was. The African spur tortoise, it looks amazing, don't complain about there, and we finally get another tortoise that doesn't look a little bit like crap, like the Galapagos and Aldebaran tortoise. We have another really cool looking tortoise. It can use burrows, which is really cool, but as I said, it could have been something else. It could have been a tree kangaroo, something I would have wished for, something the community would have wished for, because tree kangaroos are super unique animals. It could have been a coati, a zoo stable, basically. No zoo I know without coatis. They are super common species from South America. By the way, I'm using here for, the idea was that this is basically that archaeologists are digging out these ruins, and they use the scaffolding to get to the pillars and stuff like that, and the baboons took them over and now using as climbing frames. And I tried to make my own scaffolding. It didn't turn out really well, so I'm using the one that came with the tropical pack for the walkthrough exhibits. It has some scaffolding, so I'm using that to make the climbing frames for the baboon, and they actually can get on top of the pillars, which is super cool. You probably saw that in the intro cinematic. But yeah, the tortoise, as I said, could have been something else. It's cool that we have it, but since it's probably our last pack, getting another tortoise instead of something like a tree kangaroo, like a coati, like a walrus, like a secretary bird, feels a bit sad, I have to say. And I know Frontier's focus isn't on Planet Zoo anymore. If you didn't know that, it isn't on Planet Zoo anymore. They are preparing for Planet Coaster 2 now, and their team isn't as big as it used to be. They are working with a skeleton crew, so they don't have all the resources anymore that they had in the beginning. So I understand if they have to go for easier animals and stuff like that, or for easier doable animals, and didn't went for the all too complicated rigs and stuff like that. But a coati is most likely it's very like a raccoon. They are close related to raccoons, so I don't see why that wouldn't be possible. And tree kangaroo, it's a climbing animal. We have a lot of climbing animals in the game, so it would have been possible. Anyway, what I want to say is the pack is good, but it's not Perfect. The pieces are, in my opinion, one of the strong points of this DLC. I know we get some weird pieces in there, like the giant flowers. We get a lot of marquee pieces, but we also get some very useful pieces, like the steel cables, like the new iron bars or iron beams, some new wood pieces, and other new rope pieces, stuff like that. So there's a lot of useful stuff for general zoo building, zoo theming, behind the scenes, backstage building, stuff like that. So there is some cool stuff in there, and it's luckily not all totally themed and unusable in a general realistic zoo kind of way. So that is definitely a strong point for this DLC. But in overall, I have to say the whole DLC, while really good executed, well, not really executed by, very good made. All the animals look great, apart from some things here and there that are okayish but could have been better. The whole DLC is totally great. It's a great DLC. It's not amazing DLC. It's a decent DLC, I would say. I think that is the right word for that. It's a decent DLC. If you would ask me from 1 to 10, what it would be, and for me, from 1 out of 10, I would say probably a 7 out of 10, maybe a 7.5 out of 10. So it's definitely a solid DLC, and if you have the money, if you are interested in the animals and pieces, definitely get it. But I would also say it's no problem to wait for a sale and then get the DLC. But I have to say, with keeping in mind that it might be the last DLC we ever get for this game, it could have been better. Definitely, if I ask me, it could have been better. It didn't, so we have to accept that. We have to deal with that, and we can only hope that in a potential Planet Zoo 2, they make up for that. We get the animals that we missed in this game. I'm sure we'll get them at some point, and if not, the mods are now there. So if this is the last DLC release, then there's nothing really what would break mods anymore. So if you want interested in that, the mods are there to use for you. In the end, we should see this DLC as what it is and not what it could have been. And for what it is, for what we're getting here, it's a very solid DLC. Maybe not the best DLC to end the game, but definitely a solid DLC in the general sense of DLCs for this game. And we should never forget that Frontier really listened to the community over the years with all the updates and changes they made. So we should definitely be thankful for what Frontier achieved in this game. And we can only look forward to a potential Planet Zoo 2 and what this could bring for us. But yeah, we will now end our little speed build here and my little discussion of my opinion on the DLC. Let me know in the comment what your opinion on the DLC is. Really happy to read that and see your views and stuff like that. And I would say we will see us in a moment then in the real-time part where we look at the finished exhibit. Alright, and here we are now in the real-time part, looking at our finished baboon exhibit. I hope they are not too loud in the background. But yeah, we have, I think, 2 males in here with 12 females, if I'm not incorrect. Each, you can have actually more. I think you can have up to 100 baboons, and as many males and females as you want, as they are in real life, mostly multiple males with their harems together in one big group. So it is realistic that you would have multiple males in a baboon group, as they each have their own group of females around them, but they lived close together. It's a very, very unusual social structure that the HAMADRYAS baboon has. But yeah, I really, really, really love how this turned out. It feels classic. It feels European classic exhibit, but also it feels deserty, it feels dry. They can actually climb on the fallen pillar here, which is very cool. They do some weird jumps, but this is just the climbing system in Planet Zoo that we have. We can't do anything much about it. And yeah, really, really cool. It actually should be around the size they need in game for this type of group, so you can yeah, see how much space a group of that size would need. And as I said, this is the backstage area. Nothing to see here. As I said, it's empty inside because of all the rocks sticking through from the rock wall. And the main attraction is, of course, the exhibit itself. But if you want, you can, of course, try to make your own backstage. Yeah, really, really cool. Really love the HAMADRYAS baboon. And, you know, people who know me know I'm not the biggest primate fan because they a little bit weird me out with their how human-like they sometimes are. But I have to say, apart from the weird rock climb here, could also be because of I'm still using the review version of this game, not the fully released version. That they look really cool. I think Frontier did a great job also with the whole model, with how the tail drips down, with the male. So I know the hair on the male should a little bit more flatter and not sticking out to the sides. But overall, I have to say they did a really great job. Especially these females look amazing. See them sleeping in the background here. And I have to change the store. I have to change the location of the door. But yeah, really, really happy how everything turned out. How the whole exhibit turned out. And yeah, I hope you like it as well. Don't want to keep this for too long because, as I said, there's nothing much to see here. It's a round exhibit. You see it from all angles. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, I hope I see you in the next video, which might be a little bit of a surprise. Don't know yet, but might be something you haven't seen before. We will see. Definitely try to build for one of the new animals in the Zookeepers Animal DLC. As I said, will release today. Maybe already has released when you watch this video. I don't have the exact time of day on which Frontier plans to release this to the public. But yeah, there might be something new and cool in the next video next week. And I hope I see you there. And until then, have a great time, stay safe, and bye bye everyone.